You know that feeling when an audit seems like something that just happens to you? Like this top-down judgment from someone who, let's be honest, doesn't really know your job day to day? Well, today, we're going to flip that script. We're talking about something called control self-assessment, or CSA for short. It's a really powerful way for an organization to get stronger, but from the inside out. The whole idea is to empower the real experts, the people actually doing the work, to take ownership and make their own processes better. So let's dive in.
All right, here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll break down what control self-assessment actually is. Then, we'll look at who needs to be involved. It's a real team effort. After that, we'll walk through how it all works, step by step. And then we get to the good stuff, the payoff, the actual benefits. Oh, and you're definitely going to want to stick around till the end because I've got a critical warning for you, something that could save you a real headache, whether it's on an exam or in your actual career.
Okay, so what is control self-assessment really? Well, it's probably better to think of it not as just another procedure, but more as a total shift in mindset. The old way of doing things often feels like getting a report card from an outsider, right? CSA just flips that completely on its head. It's all about building that sense of internal ownership, where the teams themselves are the ones looking at their own work and asking the big question, how can we make this thing stronger?
Think about it for a second. Are the controls you have, all those procedures and policies, are they really working the way they're supposed to? Sure, a traditional audit might come in and spot a few things, but how do you get that continuous day in, day out feel for what's working and what's not? You can only get that from the people who are actually living with those controls every single day.
And that, right there, is exactly where CSA comes in. Now, the official definition talks about, evaluating risk and control systems, but honestly, the phrase you really need to lock in on is empowering employees. See, CSA is built on this core idea that good controls aren't just the job of some manager or an auditor. No way. It's a shared responsibility, because the people closest to the work, they're the ones with the truly priceless insights.
So, speaking of people, that leads us perfectly into our next section, because CSA is absolutely a team effort, and it's super important to understand exactly who plays what role.
All right, to make this real, let's use an example we can all understand. Let's just imagine a standard purchasing department in some company. These are the folks who buy everything from pens and paper to massive pieces of equipment. We're going to follow along as they use CSA to take a hard look at their own processes, their risks, and their controls.
So in our little scenario here, you've got 3 key groups sitting around the table. First up, and honestly, they're the most important, the employees and their manager. The people actually creating the purchase orders day in and day out. They are the experts here. Then you've got senior management, kind of overseeing the whole thing and giving it their blessing. And finally, you have the internal auditors, and this is where their role gets a total makeover. They're not the inspectors with a clipboard anymore. Instead, they become more like coaches, facilitators, partners really, helping guide the team.
Okay, so we know who's in the room. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how it all actually works. How do we take this from a cool idea into something we actually do?
Basically, there are 3 main ways to do a CSA. The most common approach is a facilitated workshop, a structured in-person meeting. Then you've got surveys or questionnaires, which are super useful if you have a big team or people are spread out all over the place. And last, there's something called self-certification, which is more of a formal analysis led by management. And of course, a lot of companies will kind of mix and match these to see what works best for them.
Now, since those structured workshops are by far the most popular way to do this, let's zoom in on that one. So how would our purchasing department actually pull this off?
A really good workshop basically has 4 key steps. It all kicks off with planning. You got to do your homework first. Then comes the meeting itself, getting all the key players together in one room. The real magic happens with a structured agenda. This is where a good facilitator guides the whole conversation, makes sure every voice is heard. And finally, and this part is so important, it all wraps up with reporting. And we're not talking about some dusty report that's going to sit on a shelf. No, this is a real, concrete action plan for how to make things better, and it's created and owned by the team.
Okay, and this is where it gets super interesting. That workshop? It's not a one-size-fits-all deal. The team can actually pick from 4 different formats, or think of them as 4 different lenses to look through. For instance, if they use the objective-based format, they're asking, hey, are we actually accomplishing our goal here? Are we getting the best value? If they go with the risk-based format, the question becomes, what are the biggest things that could trip us up? What could go wrong? Then there's the control-based format, where they'd zoom in on one specific control, say how they approve new suppliers, and analyze if it's actually working. And finally, with a process-based format, they look at the whole shebang from start to finish to find any weak spots or bottlenecks. each one sparks a totally different and really valuable conversation.
So, okay, that sounds like a bit of work, right? So what's the payoff? Why should you or your organization even bother? Well, that brings us right to the benefits, and they are pretty significant.
Man, the benefits are huge, and they really create a ripple effect across the entire organization. For starters, when people are assessing their own work, their awareness of risks just skyrockets. You get this amazing sense of ownership. It's not just the process, it's our process to make better. And when people feel that ownership, guess what? Fixes happen way faster, and they're usually more effective. Plus, and this is a big one, it frees up the internal audit team. They can stop sweating the small stuff and really focus their energy on the big, high-risk areas of the business. It is a total win-win.
All right, we're heading into our final section now, and I really want you to listen closely to this one. It's a critical point, and it's something that trips people up all the time, both out in the real world and especially on exams.
Okay, here it is. The single biggest mistake, the classic exam trap question, is assuming that CSA replaces the work of internal auditors, that it makes them obsolete. Let me be super clear. That is 100% not the case.
The key here is to think and, not or. CSA augments the audit role. It doesn't replace it. It's there to assist management with their responsibilities, not let them delegate their responsibilities away. It creates better information for auditors to use. It doesn't eliminate the need for them to do their own testing. The bottom line, you see, is that this is all about partnership. It's not about replacement.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The official standards are super clear about this. They say the internal audit function's primary role will continue to include things like validating the process and expressing professional judgment. What does that mean in plain English? It means even if you have an amazing CSA program, you still need that independent, objective look from an auditor to make sure everything's on the up and up.
So, if you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this. The absolute core of CSA is this. It's about empowering the experts on the ground, the people doing the actual work every single day, because at the end of the day, they know the processes, the risks, and the controls better than anyone else ever could.
And that leaves me with one last question for you to chew on. Just think about your own work, your own team or department. What's the very first process that pops into your head that could really, truly benefit from a fresh look? Not from some outsider, but from the very people who own it.